We're gonna install a 9 Lives racing wing on this 2015 Mustang GT. So this is my buddy's wing. We are gonna get this installed today, and this thing should be feeling a lot better at autocross and when we hit the track. Doesn't look like there's any other videos on how to do this, so I'm gonna try to be as precise as possible, and we'll see how this comes out. Maybe you guys can just learn from our mistakes. All right, we're gonna start by installing the pylons. You wanna make sure that the 9 Lives racing logo is on the outside. Also, you wanna make sure that you have it in the correct orientation. They've actually poke-yoked this design so that you can't mess it up. It's actually got a pivot point at the front. There's only one place to mount it. You can't mess it up like I was about to. All right, that's good. Let's get this thing mounted, get it lined up.
Don't worry too much about the angle right now, as this is something that we'll have to adjust on the car.
So where do I want to put this bolt at? On the back side? Oh, it's just in the rotation. How are you going all the way down? All right, so we have the pylons installed. We're only using 2 nuts and bolts right now. Let's get to getting this centered up on the trunk. So what we've done so far is we found the center line, marked it with tape, and then we're gonna measure off of that for the supports. So we just measured the space between the holes on the back of the wing, and we got 77 millimeters. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go 38.5 millimeters off the center. We're probably gonna mark our holes and then make sure that everything line up. And then from there, we can actually make a mark where the holes actually sit and then drill. That way we don't have any misalignment issues. I don't know why I keep putting my hands in front of the camera.
Just a piece of advice, Brandon has wrapped his trunk, which meant we weren't too worried about scratches. If you guys are doing this on a regular painted trunk, I would recommend putting down a layer of tape in the work area just so you guys can take this on and off without scratching anything.
Here, I'll hold it if you want to go get a peek at it. I would definitely recommend having 2 sets of hands for this because the center of gravity of the wing is behind the bumper, so it's trying to fall backwards. So this is not something you're going to set and then grab your drill and start drilling. You're going to have somebody hold this. It looks like it's that way. The tape looks like it's off this way. Oh no. Okay.
At this point, Brandon thinks the wing is actually off center slightly, so we're gonna go with a second method that you guys can do just to kind of confirm our numbers here.
I think it looks good. Dude, that thing is fucking gnarly though. Okay, so we're gonna double check our markings by using the old fashioned plumb bob method. All right, so we got 74 millimeters across the length of the airfoil. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the plumb bob from 37 millimeters and see how it lines up with the center line that we made earlier. Inches, not millimeters. We don't exactly have the pendulum with the point.
I'm just looking at the center line because the center line of this is gonna be right. So if that's the case, then...
Okay, give a quick look. We're gonna hold this as steady as we can and then you're gonna come back and mark the trunk.
Because then once we get it measured.
I don't want to move out of your way because I don't want to shift this. All right, Luke is following the measure twice, cut once method, which I am a firm disbeliever in myself. Ooh, that sounds healthy.
Here, we're just using a punch to make sure that our drill bit doesn't walk around when we start drilling.
So we've actually started drilling and we're a little concerned with access on the back side of the trunk. We're gonna drill through and then we're gonna see what kind of access we have, and we might have to cut and drill in order to create access, but we'll let you guys know how that turns out. All right, so Brandon is using a stepper bit. If you guys have never used one of these bits before, you can just put a piece of tape where you wanna stop drilling and then you drill to that depth and you stop. Pretty simple, but simple is effective and repeatable. Okay, so for one of the mounting bolts, there's a bit of a channel that runs through the trunk this way, and we drilled a hole center. We drilled an access hole, and hopefully we can get something through here in order to put a nut or a bolt through the trunk and support the wing. So after drilling from the top of the trunk, there's actually a physical indentation in a couple locations that you can drill on the backside from to make sure that you've got access. So if you guys are using a step bit and it's not gonna go all the way through, that's a good way to drill from the backside so that you can make sure you have access. Now up here, which is going to be the backside of the wing, the nice thing is Ford has actually got this little channel here. So this kind of tells you as far as verticality where you need to go, and then as far as the X direction, really gonna be something you have to eyeball. We did not measure, and I think this is gonna be hard to measure, honestly.
What I try to do is just line the holes up.
Yeah, so what you can do, you can line up with the holes you made earlier. Our hard work has paid off. The wing has went on very easily. Now we're just snugging up nuts and bolts, and then we can start swapping out the end plates.
I wasn't worried about it.
All right, so now we're gonna remove these wooden end plates that ship with the airfoil. That way it doesn't become damaged. So we're gonna zip these off now. Luke, go ahead. He's been very excited to do this. All right, so Brandon ordered the additional gurney flap, and this actually ships inside of the aerofoil, and then it just slots right in. And then by the time you sandwich on the end plates, this should tighten up with it. Our understanding is at about 60 mile an hour, you gain an additional 30 pounds of downforce. So this is a solid upgrade. Wow, stands right in front of the camera.
Yeah, well, you put the camera in the spot.
All right, so we got the wing all installed, and this thing looks amazing. Brandon, what is your overall thoughts? Brandon's very excited about his purchase. We're really excited to see how this thing's gonna do at autocross at full attack. A couple important things about this wing. First of all, you do still have full flex of the trunk. This is not gonna smack your window. This is not gonna cause issues. You still have full access. Oh, and in case you need a bottle opener, it's got a bottle opener built right in. Brandon actually just sat in the car, and it looks like we still have great visibility out of the back window, which again, very helpful if this is your daily driver. As far as downforce numbers go, at 60 mile an hour, we're looking at about 90 pounds of downforce with the gurney flap. And then at about 100 mile an hour, you're looking at 250 pounds of downforce, again, with the gurney flap. So yeah, we're pretty excited to see how this car does, and follow to watch this thing at autocross in the track.